What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning on into the Evergreen Motovlogs channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for stopping on by. If you like motorcycle content, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I've got tons of it both on the channel and headed your way, so smash the notification bell for future uploads and or live streams. Either way, thank you so much for stopping on by, and welcome to the Evergreen Motovlogs channel. Oh, dropping keys. So today I'm going to be tasked with talking about the Rebel 500 and upgrading to the Indian Scout. So I haven't done that yet, and I say yet, I may never do it, but I haven't gotten the Indian Scout yet. I just kind of wanted to go through my general thoughts and ask all you guys the same question. You know, what do you think about starting out on a Rebel 500 and then going to the Indian Scout? Yeah, I'm going to hop on the Rebel here, do a little bit of riding, and get into everything in just a minute. Delicious snack. I'm not sponsored by Nerds, but you know, if you guys want to talk, I'll put these in here for safekeeping. Skirdoop. Nice. Oh man, look at that. Shout out to Kaufman's hooking me up on this exhaust. Did the install just a few weeks ago, and I've been loving it ever since. So yeah, way to go, Kaufman's. They really hit it out of the park for these Rebel exhausts. Nice. We'll put it in neutral. Oh, yeah. Motorcycles. Alright, and away we go. But first I gotta make sure I didn't leave anything. Chilling here. Alright, so the Rebel Scout Rogue. The Indian 500. Let's start that over again. The Honda Rebel 500 upgrading to the Indian Scout. Not necessarily the Indian Scout Rogue, which has been replaced with the new 2025 Indian Sport Scout, but it's basically the same freaking thing. Just Indian Scouts in general. So I do have some thoughts on this. I have ridden an Indian Scout before. It wasn't the newer models, but it was still an Indian Scout, and it was a freaking blast. On top of that, the Indian Scout is just, man, such a good looking motorcycle. I don't know, I think they just nailed it with the aesthetics, and honestly, maybe contrary to popular belief, I potentially think that the older Indian Scout model actually might look a little bit better than the newer Scouts. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments if you guys think the same thing, or if you think that the newer models look better than the older ones. That is not this video. This video, yeah, really just kind of going over my thoughts on the Indian Scout, and if I think it's the best bike, the best cruiser at least, to upgrade to from the Rebel 500. Do I think that it is the best cruiser? I mean, I think it's a really good option, right? I think that the Indian Scout is kind of a natural next step. So it's a little bit of a bigger bike, definitely. I mean, it's got twice the power of the Rebel 500. You're definitely getting a solid power upgrade. And, you know, if you treat it with respect, I think it's something that somebody who learns on a 500 could totally get comfortable with and, you know, learn to enjoy and all that kind of stuff. I definitely think it can be a great option, but there's also some other good options out there. There's the Rebel 1100, which has a really big thing going for it over the Indian Scout, and that is the price. So one of the issues with the Indian Scout is that it is super expensive. I mean, and when you compare it to the Rebel 500, like let's say you're somebody like me who was a new rider, bought the Rebel 500 new, and then now looking at the upgrade, and it's $10,000 more. I know it's less, but after dealer fees and all that kind of stuff, maybe it shakes out to $8,000 more or something like that. Like it's a pretty substantial increase. So maybe 10,000 is a little dramatic, but either way, it is a significant jump. Whereas if you look at something like the Rebel 1100, you're only going maybe $3,000 or $4,000 more from what you paid for on the Rebel 500. So definitely price. Wanted to get that one out of the way because that's a big one, and it's a big deal. You know, price can really make or break it for people. And honestly, it's probably been a big factor as I've been weighing my decisions on what bike to get next, what cruiser to go with next. You know, naturally the Rebel 1100 would be a really awesome motorcycle, but in the back of my mind I have this voice that's like, you know, is it just another Rebel, you know? And while I've really enjoyed my Rebel, part of me also wants to kind of test something else out. And, you know, if I upgrade to a $10,000 to $15,000 cruiser, you know, even $8,000 or $9,000, I'm not going to be doing that super frequently, right? I'm not going to go get a different bike 2 years down the road or one year later or whatever. So it's going to be something I'm going to have for a while, and I'm going to want to enjoy for a while. I really have this burning question of, is the Scout one of the best bikes, if not the best bike, to upgrade to from the Rebel 500? Well, you know, you're definitely getting a good increase in power. You're getting a good, like, the Indian Scout is just a super well-designed bike. It looks amazing. You get the awesome V-twin sound, which is super appealing. I don't know why it's so appealing, but man, I just love the sound. Those Harleys and those Indians, just that V-twin sound is just, is a different level. They really, those American-made manufacturers really know how to make a motorcycle sound freaking sweet. So that's a component of it too to think about. And yeah, the Scout, with the new Scout, the 2025 edition, you've got upgrades to the, you know, to a few different things. You got a totally redesigned instrument cluster, you've got cruise control, you've got a lot of things that now are really making the Scout a super good option compared to some of the other competitors in its market. I think it fits perfectly into that next, like, you know, because, right, like, when I rode it, the impression that I got was, like, obviously there's a lot more power than the Rebel 500. Like, you can't even compare the two bikes. So you're getting a good upgraded power, and it's kind of a little bit, you know, maybe you take a little bit of a step back in your motorcycle growth, in a sense of you kind of have to relearn to respect the throttle. If you twist it too hard, you're gonna potentially lose control. And part of it really comes down to, you know, what is the best Rebel 500 upgrade? Well, I mean, part of it is what is the best overall upgrade for you as a rider. You know, do you want to stay with cruisers? Do you want something that is going to be a little bit more long distance, like a bagger? Or do you want to go to something totally different, like an adventure bike or some kind of sport bike, or, you know, something completely different from what the Rebel or the Scout really are? You know, it's a lot of internal questions you have to ask yourself, but if you're looking strictly for cruisers, definitely I don't think you can go wrong with going with the Indian Scout. And I could for sure see myself getting one day and really enjoying it for the long haul, and having everything I need, like forward control and cruise control. Like, you could turn it into a little bit more of that bagger style motorcycle. You know, if budget is a concern, then maybe the Rebel 1100 is the better option, right? Because, like I said, you're saving, or you're spending about, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 less. That definitely could be a huge consideration when you're looking to upgrade. And at the end of the day, I haven't really done a comparison video yet of the Rebel 1100 versus the Indian Scout. Maybe one day I'll do one, or maybe after I make my final decision, if I decide to go with one of those two bikes. But I will say, if you're comparing the two, you're talking about power and technology and everything like that, they're pretty much the same thing. The newer Scouts obviously have a little bit more going on with the technology, and so if having a super, you know, like nav system built in and all these different features to the instrument cluster is something that you want, that isn't something that Honda offers yet on the Rebel 1100. It would be cool if they do end up doing a Rebel redesign again and do kind of a refresh to offer maybe like a premium model or something like that, to where you had an upgraded cluster. So that'd be kind of neat to see. But as it stands right now, they just kind of have this same one that they've had for years, and it's the same across all models, whether you're getting the touring model or you're getting the regular manual version. And they don't have forward controls on the Rebel 1100, and so there's a couple things that maybe the Scout would have if you're gonna go with a more longer term choice than the Rebel does. Also, reliability is something to think about. Honda has been known for decades being one of the best small engine manufacturers and one of the best motorcycle manufacturers out there. And so if you're worried about reliability issues, you know, you want to get something like a Rebel and you know, stick with what you're comfortable with, what you're used to, right? There's kind of that component I was talking earlier about, you know, always having that little voice in the back of my mind, is there something else out there? What, you know, what's it like to experience other bikes? But then it's also like, you know what, I'm comfortable with Honda and the Rebel, and I know this bike and I like it, and so just getting its bigger brother, if you want to call the Rebel 1100 the bigger brother of their 500, you know, might be a great option, and it could be the best option. I think when it really comes down to it, the point of this video, the main answer to the question really is, what is the best bike for you? And the only way you're really going to be able to figure that out is by experiencing the motorcycles. So going to dealerships and sitting on the bikes, if you've got some cool dealerships in your area that are going to allow you to sit on them and ride them and take them for a test ride, do that for sure. If you have friends that have either of those motorcycles, you know, checking them out, like all of those things I highly encourage, because, you know, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to learn what bike is the best bike for you only from YouTube. Like, you got to go experience the motorcycle. That's how I knew I wanted the Rebel 500, is I went out and I experienced it, and I realized, like, yeah, this is a sick bike. This is the bike I want. So at the end of the day, I think that the Indian Scout is an awesome choice. I hate sneezing in my helmet. Hi, puppies. Hi, puppies. Everything that I've experienced and seen about the Indian Scout makes it feel like it is a super logical next step in the cruiser world if you're going to start on a Rebel 500. And I know that there's tons of people that have done that, and so I don't think you can go wrong. I still haven't made my decision yet. I don't know if I will. Definitely not going to be making that decision before the end of this year. We'll see what future years bring. You know, part of it is I don't even know if I still want to stay with cruisers. I mean, yeah, I love cruisers and I hope to always own one, but in terms of my next bike, maybe I want to do something a little different. So I don't know, but leave a comment down below. Let me know if you started on a 500, whether it's a Rebel, or, you know what, just let me know if you started on a smaller displacement bike and then upgraded to the Indian Scout, any of the versions, whether it's the older model or the new 2025 model. And yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. You know, I'd love to hear from everybody and hear your experience and, you know, what do you think about it. Let me know if you think that there are better bikes out there. Like, obviously I didn't talk about any of the Harleys. I really haven't had a chance to experience those bikes as much, and I don't know how I feel about the, you know, the Nightster that they came out with a couple years ago. Like, I just kind of from a 30,000 foot view, I think the Scout has that beat. So yeah, everybody let me know what you think. I may go ride one day and realize that's a way better bike, or one of the other cruisers, you know. But bottom line is I don't think you can go wrong if you go experience a few different bikes and you find what you like and what you think is a good fit for you. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It definitely seems like the Scout is the popular choice, and for sure before the 1100 came out, that was like kind of like the natural progression. Like, I would see on all the Honda Rebel pages, people would be like, all right, everybody, peace out, love y'all, got my 500 a few years ago, this community is awesome, upgraded to the Indian Scout, love that bike. Like, it seems like, you know, that is kind of the natural progression. But, you know, in order to really answer if that's the right thing for you, yeah, you got to go check out the bike, see them in person, sit on them, feel them, you know, decide if you want forward controls and you want the Indian brand, and, you know, all the million other things, you know, all the million little tiny decisions that go into the big picture decision of upgrading to your next motorcycle. It's a journey, and it's a fun journey to go on, you know, between getting your first bike, learning that, feeling like you're really comfortable on it. I won't say mastering it, because, you know, personally, I don't feel like I've mastered anything. Much to learn I still have. I still have a lot to learn about motorcycles and riding in general and everything, but, you know, kind of growing through that bike and then potentially moving on to the next one. It's a fun journey, and, you know, it's something that I don't think should be rushed, and I'm not trying to rush it with myself, and I'm not trying to get rid of this Rebel 500. You know, I think it's a really fun motorcycle, and I don't want to get rid of it right now. Overall, if I was just going to give it kind of like a one final big answer, I think that Indian Scout would be a great bike to upgrade to, just given all the great features that it brings in terms of upgrades. There's a lot to enjoy and learn on that bike, and it brings a cool sound and a lot of power. Man, that's like 20 cars all of a sudden showing up. I'm gonna go ahead and cut things off there. Send me all your thoughts, and I wish you all luck. You know, if you are currently on that journey and trying to figure out what the best next bike is, you know, I wish you the best. And I know at the end of the day, you're going to make the right decision, and it's going to be an awesome outcome. And you're going to have a really freaking sweet motorcycle. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And this is the Evergreen Motovlogs channel, reminding y'all to ride safe out there, mind your surroundings, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I can't really zoom through these corners, so let's wait till afterwards. Yeah, these corners are a little tight, and then to my right is like an epic drop-off. If there was a place to pull over and show you guys, I would, but it's just like, pew, all sodded. Nice.